An intelligent man avoids sharing these 10 secrets to his family. In the journey of life, filled with impermanence and interdependence, the teachings of Buddhism remind us of the importance of discernment, understanding what to hold within and what to share with others. On this episode of Buddhism Wisdom Podcast, we explore the concept of inner wisdom and how choosing what to share can protect harmony, cultivate inner peace, and deepen relationships. Through the lens of Buddhist philosophy, we'll examine 10 key secrets that a wise person might choose to keep private. 1. The true purpose of life. Buddhism teaches us that the ultimate purpose of life is to end suffering and achieve enlightenment. This path, known as the Noble Eightfold Path, is deeply personal and often misunderstood by those who do not walk it. Sharing such profound goals with others, especially family, may lead to confusion or even unintended discouragement. Instead, the wise practice silence and action. They live by example, embodying the principles of mindfulness, compassion, and right action. Their journey inspires curiosity and respect without the need for explanations. The Buddha's own life is a testament to this. He left the comforts of his royal life in search of truth, a path that many initially misunderstood. One of the most famous stories illustrating this wisdom is the story of Prince Siddhartha. As a young man, Siddhartha left his palace and family to seek answers to the nature of suffering. His departure, though painful for those around him, allowed him to reach enlightenment and later share his teachings with the world. By focusing on his purpose, Siddhartha became the Buddha, illuminating a path for all who sought peace. 2. Inner anxieties and fears. Anxiety and fear are natural, yet Buddhism teaches that these emotions stem from attachment and aversion. Sharing these feelings excessively can create more attachment or even spread fear to others. The wise choose to transform their anxieties through mindfulness and meditation rather than seeking external validation. Take the story of a young monk troubled by fears of failing his duties. His teacher advised him to meditate on impermanence, anicca, and visualize his fears dissolving like clouds in the sky. With practice, the monk cultivated calmness and clarity. Similarly, sharing one's anxieties indiscriminately can amplify worries within a family, whereas addressing them privately fosters strength and resilience. This principle echoes the story of Ananda, a devoted attendant of the Buddha. Despite his fears and doubts, Ananda practiced deep meditation, learning to trust the teachings of impermanence and interdependence. His transformation inspired many disciples, proving that calmness in facing fear leads to wisdom and inner peace. 3. Mistakes from the past. The past, according to Buddhist teachings, is a valuable teacher, but not a place to dwell. Sharing one's mistakes indiscriminately may create unnecessary judgment or pain for both oneself and others. Instead, the wise reflect on their actions privately, seeking to learn and grow. Consider the story of Angulimala, a feared bandit who committed grave misdeeds in his past. Upon meeting the Buddha, Angulimala repented and devoted his life to the path of enlightenment. Rather than fixating on his past, he channeled his energy into practicing compassion and mindfulness, becoming an example of transformation and redemption. As the Buddha said, "Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." This timeless wisdom encouraged individuals to focus on present opportunities rather than lingering on past regrets, transforming mistakes into valuable lessons. 4. Risky future plans. Ambition and aspirations often carry risks. Buddhism advises caution in sharing bold plans prematurely, as this may invite unnecessary opinions or doubts. Instead, the wise quietly nurture their aspirations, allowing them to grow in the right conditions. The principle of right speech reminds us to speak only when our words are true, kind, and beneficial. By sharing plans only when they are well prepared, we create harmony and minimize the risk of conflict. This approach reflects the middle way, avoiding extremes while maintaining focus and balance. Imagine an individual pursuing a creative passion like art or music while balancing societal expectations. Prematurely sharing their plans could invite discouragement from those who prioritize conventional careers. By focusing inward and nurturing their skills, the individual builds confidence and ultimately reveals their path when it is ready to bear fruit. Similarly, the Buddha taught that patience and perseverance, rather than hasty declarations, yield the best results. 5. Personal relationships and conflicts. In Buddhist teachings, relationships are seen as opportunities to practice compassion and understanding. However, sharing every conflict with family can create unnecessary tension and division. The wise address conflicts privately, seeking resolution through empathy and mindful communication. A well-known Buddhist parable tells of a young woman named Kisagatami who sought help from the Buddha after losing her child. In her grief, she learned the truth of impermanence, that suffering is a shared human experience. This teaching helped her heal and strengthened her relationships with others through compassion rather than conflict. By applying the principles of deep listening and right action, individuals can transform conflicts into opportunities for growth and connection. Mindful communication emphasizes patience and kindness, preserving harmony both within the family and the external environment. 6. Financial challenges. Buddhism emphasizes contentment, sanctity, and simplicity, reminding us that wealth is not the source of true happiness. Sharing financial difficulties excessively can create unnecessary worry for loved ones. Instead, the wise focus on practical solutions and cultivate gratitude for what they have. Through the practice of generosity dana, they balance their financial challenges with acts of giving, fostering a sense of abundance even in times of scarcity. Their quiet resilience becomes a model for others to follow. Consider the story of King Ashoka, who transformed from a conqueror into a compassionate ruler inspired by Buddhist teachings. By prioritizing the welfare of his people over personal wealth, Ashoka demonstrated the joy of simplicity and the power of generosity, leaving a legacy of peace and harmony. 7. Spiritual practices and progress. The path to enlightenment is deeply personal and often misunderstood by those who do not share the same journey. The wise avoid broadcasting their spiritual practices, focusing instead on embodying the qualities of mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom. For instance, a lay practitioner who integrates meditation into their daily life may subtly influence their family through their newfound patience and joy. Over time, loved ones may naturally become curious and seek guidance, creating an organic and harmonious exchange of values. This principle is illustrated in the story of the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara, who quietly embodies compassion and wisdom, inspiring countless beings to follow the path of liberation. His silent dedication serves as a powerful reminder that actions often speak louder than words. 8. Ambitions beyond family expectations. Family often has expectations that may not align with an individual's true calling. Buddhism teaches us to honor our unique paths while practicing compassion for differing perspectives. The wise navigate this balance with care, sharing their ambitions only when the time is right. By demonstrating the value of their aspirations through actions and results, they gradually earn understanding and support. This approach reflects the principle of interdependence, recognizing that harmony arises when all perspectives are considered. A young entrepreneur pursuing sustainable business practices, for example, may face initial skepticism from their family. Through perseverance and tangible outcomes, they demonstrate the alignment of their ambitions with broader values, bridging generational and cultural gaps. 9. Opinions on sensitive topics. In a world filled with differing views, sharing strong opinions on sensitive topics can create division. Buddhism advocates for right speech, words that promote understanding and connection rather than conflict. The wise choose their words carefully, prioritizing listening and empathy over debate. They create space for dialogue, fostering mutual respect and deeper understanding. For instance, when discussing environmental concerns, a mindful individual emphasizes shared values and actionable solutions rather than polarizing arguments. This approach cultivates collaboration and inspires collective action without alienating differing viewpoints. 10. Criticism of others. The Buddha's teachings on speech emphasize kindness and non-harm. Criticizing others, especially within the family, can create rifts and perpetuate suffering. The wise refrain from judgment, focusing instead on understanding and compassion. By letting go of ego and the need to be right, they foster harmony and mutual respect. This approach strengthens family bonds and nurtures a peaceful environment. In one example, a parent observing their child's unconventional career choice chooses to express support and curiosity rather than criticism. By doing so, they build trust and encourage open communication, laying the foundation for a resilient and loving relationship. Here are some additional stories that illustrate the main points. 1. The true purpose of life. The story of Chanda and Siddhartha. Chanda, Prince Siddhartha's charioteer, was among the first to witness Siddhartha's determination to pursue the truth. When Siddhartha decided to leave the palace in search of answers to the nature of suffering, Chanda helped him cross the river to begin his journey. Although Chanda did not fully understand Siddhartha's purpose at the time, he respected his decision. After Siddhartha attained enlightenment and became the Buddha, Chanda returned to him and became one of his earliest followers. Lesson: the pursuit of truth often invites misunderstanding. Focusing on a higher purpose, like Siddhartha, helps us transcend doubt and remain steadfast. 2 inner anxieties and fears. The Buddha faces Mara. On the night of his enlightenment, the Buddha faced Mara, the embodiment of fear and temptation. Mara appeared in various forms, from terrifying armies to seductive illusions. Rather than reacting with fear or resistance, the Buddha met Mara with compassion and calmness. Declaring that the earth itself bore witness to his resolve, the Buddha dispelled Mara's power. Lesson: fear cannot be overcome by panic or avoidance. Acceptance and calm understanding dissolve anxiety and strengthen inner peace. 3 mistakes from the past. The story of Agalimbla. Agalimbla, a notorious bandit, had committed countless murders and was feared by many. After encountering the Buddha, he realized the gravity of his actions and sought refuge in the Dharma. The Buddha forgave him and guided him to transform his life. Agalimbla became a monk and eventually an arahant, exemplifying redemption through mindfulness and compassion. Lesson: the past does not define us. Mistakes are lessons, and what matters is how we transform and grow from them. For risky future plans, the story of Emperor Ashoka. Before becoming a great supporter of Buddhism, Ashoka was a conqueror. Witnessing the suffering caused by his wars, he resolved to abandon violence and focus on peace. Initially, his court did not support this radical change. However, Ashoka's unwavering determination eventually led him to become one of the most compassionate rulers in history. Lesson: ambitious plans often face doubt and resistance. Quiet perseverance and action protect these plans from premature criticism. 5. Personal relationships and conflicts. The story of Kisagatami. After losing her child, Kisagatami sought help from the Buddha. He instructed her to find a mustard seed from a household untouched by death. When she could not find such a household, she realized that suffering is universal. This understanding allowed her to accept her loss and find peace. Lesson: accepting the reality of conflict and suffering helps us address them with compassion instead of frustration or blame. 6. Financial challenges. The story of Sujata and the bowl of milk. Sujata, a village girl, offered a bowl of rice milk to Siddhartha when he was near starvation. Although she was not wealthy, her generosity restored Siddhartha's strength, enabling him to continue meditating and eventually attain enlightenment. Lesson: true wealth lies in compassion and generosity, even when resources are scarce. 7. Spiritual practices and progress. The teaching of Ajahn Chah. Ajahn Chah, a renowned meditation master, often reminded his students that spiritual progress is not for show. When asked how to measure progress, he simply said, "Observe how you treat others. That is the evidence of your progress." Lesson: spiritual practice is not about external validation, but about living with peace, compassion, and wisdom. 8. Ambitions beyond family expectations. The Buddha and his family. When the Buddha returned to his family after enlightenment, many did not understand his path. However, instead of convincing them with words, the Buddha lived as an example. His actions inspired his son, Rahula, to join the monastic community and many others to follow the Dharma. Lesson: ambitions that go beyond family expectations do not require explanation. Your actions and outcomes will speak for themselves. 9 opinions on sensitive topics, the Buddha and religious debate. When asked about conflicting religious views, the Buddha responded, "Focus on what brings peace, reduces suffering, and cultivates wisdom." That is the truth. Lesson: we don't need to engage in every debate. Staying grounded in core values preserves inner peace and fosters understanding. Point 10. Criticism of others. The Buddha and the insulting farmer. When a farmer insulted the Buddha, he responded with a question. If you offer someone a gift and they do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong? The farmer replied, "To me." The Buddha smiled and said, "Exactly, and I do not accept your insult." Lesson: criticism does not benefit anyone. By refusing to react, we maintain peace within and avoid unnecessary conflict. Through the teachings of Buddhism, we learn that wisdom lies in discernment, knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. By keeping certain aspects of life private, we protect our inner peace and cultivate harmony in our relationships. On Buddhism Wisdom Podcast, we encourage you to reflect on these principles and integrate them into your daily life. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the timeless wisdom of Buddhism. If you found value in the stories and insights shared in this video, we invite you to take a moment to support our channel, Buddhism Wisdom Podcast.